Welcome to Soothing News. Uplifting stories with meditation music in the background. My name is Ethan. Well, Buford, a dog who is 6 years old, and an Anatolian Pyrenees, which I didn't even know was a kind of dog, is being showered with gifts. Buford rescued a 2-year-old boy who was lost in the Arizona wilderness, and now everybody's bringing him gifts, chew toys and snacks, and it's really, really nice. I love birthdays, and if you think having one birthday is cool, this next story is about twins, identical twins, who just celebrated their 100th birthday. Bill Casey and his brother, Jack Casey, celebrated 100 years together in Oxfordshire, England. They live in a retirement home with friends, and I was told they had cake and drinks. I just wish I had a birthday with a friend. We could always do the same birthday and call each other and laugh about how we're both eating sweets at the same time. If Chris Paul is listening to this and wants to be my friend, we would share a birthday. And I'm sure Chris and I would celebrate in very similar ways, with all of our big famous basketball best friends. In this article, it says that Bill is the oldest twin by 10 minutes, and that he enjoys an artistic life and has taken up painting in his retirement. And he does 20 minutes of exercise daily. So that big rumor, myth we've been hearing our whole lives about how exercise is good for you might actually be true, because these guys are 100. We always love hearing from our Soothing News correspondents from around the world. Today, we have a little update from a brilliant songwriter and music producer who goes by the moniker All Made Up. But of course, I call her Allee Futterer.
Hi, Ethan. Thank you so much for having me on Soothing News. My name is All Made Up, but Ethan calls me Allee because we're actually friends. Believe it or not, we both have friends. And if that does seem pretty soothing, but I actually have been cleaning my closet out and my studio, and I just got a shelf that I put some petals on, and just, kind of like decluttering and selling some vintage clothes on the internet. And it's been really nice. Every time I put a petal on the shelf, it brings me peace. So that's great. It feels soothing to me. So yeah, thank you for having me and letting me share the good news.
Wow, what an incredible piece of news there from Allee Futterer, the declutterer. Now, let's hear some more stories. Well, we've talked about birthdays and we've talked about animals here today, but how about we combine them and talk about everybody's favorite animal right now, Moodang. Moodang, the pygmy hippo from Thailand, an internet sensation, turned 1 an iconic first year for Mudang. I mean, she really made an impact with her 365 days, so I'm sure we're all very happy. And as an update, she took a few naps on her birthday, which I think we can all learn from. She munched on some watermelon, which I eat once a week. Love watermelon. And she also munched on vegetables, which we all know are very delicious and important to have every day. And then Mudang was hosed off and she took another nap. Mudang is incredible, and they are planning to have 4 days of celebrations for her, including a 44-pound hippo-sized cake. And if you're like me, you're thinking, why not pie? Isn't pie better than cake? Of course it is. But they're making her a cake, and I'm sure that Mudang is thrilled. Everyone on the planet Earth loves Mudang. And to see that fame hasn't changed Mudang is beautiful. Man, I feel like talking about Shania Twain for a second. She sang Man, I Feel Like a Woman and a bunch of other really, really, really good songs. She had a concert in England, and she invited a fan on stage, but not just any fan. This fan was 81 years young and had been attending Shania Twain concerts for over 25 years. Wow. A heartwarming memory for this fan, I'm sure. And I hope and I pray that when I turn 81 years old, Shania Twain will still be performing and bring me up on stage to sing with her, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. That would be awesome. That would be better than sharing my birthday with Chris Paul. CP3. If you're in Africa and you find a rock, it's possible that that rock is from the moon and that it's 2 billion years old. I know that because a 2 billion year old moon rock was recently found in Africa. This has been helping a lot of scientists as they try to figure out what was going on the moon that long ago. And sure, that's exciting, but the real reason I wanted to talk about this was because the doctor that they quoted in this article is named Dr. Joshua Snape. And that is a very cool name. That's it for this week's show. Remember to take your time, be kind to one another, and I'll see you soothe. Whoops. I mean, soon. Peace and love. Soothing News is produced by Shawnee Moose, The Goose is Loose, Tracy, and me, Ethan Edinburgh. This podcast is edited and mixed by Shawnee Moose and features original music by me. The artwork was drawn by Allee Futterer. And this week's stories were sourced from CBS News, Today.com, NBC News, and Good News Network. Special thanks to this week's guest correspondent, Allee Futterer. And special thanks also to you, our listeners, for without you, I would merely be speaking into the void. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Speaking into the void can be therapeutic. Might feel good to say some things that maybe otherwise you wouldn't say. You could ramble on for hours about anything, from croissants to dolphins. You could talk about the sky and how it works, and couches.